I was born and raised in Kansas, went to the school like this almost 80 years ago. I wanted to come out to Stack School because I started in a one-room school similar to this when I was 5 years old. And it served me very well, and it served thousands of people in Kansas very well, this type of schooling. But times have changed, and technology has changed. And our young people are telling me that they need an opportunity to get work experience. And I think their grandparents and their parents also acknowledge this. And the other thing is they need to use their head and hands together. Our technology programs, as well as our academic programs, are important. The young people are knowledgeable, they are ready to go, but they need some hands-on experience. I was thinking myself, you know, if a person wants to run for public office, how do you do that? If you want to be the head of a corporation, how do you do that? So we need to be preparing these young people that will soon be, or they're soon to be our helpers and our leaders, and we need to be preparing them. And since I grew up in the Great Depression, I'm very aware that the Civilian Conservation Corps, the young men were taken into that, and they were given to skills. They were taught to work, and they got paid. And they got to keep just a little of the cash, but then the rest of it went home. So the family had dignity, as well as the young person having dignity. And many of the arts that we have today, and Billard Airport is another example, because the main building out there was built by the Works Progress Administration, and it's still standing today. It's a very sturdy building. And so they learn to do a lot of different things, and many things survive today. And when I started teaching, I thought, well, I want to teach first grade, because if I could teach them to read and write, I'd know whether I was a teacher or not. And when that door shut, I had the awfulest fear. My goodness, what if I'd fail these children? Because it was a serious responsibility. And I was in my 40s when I did that. And they did learn to read and write. And there was about 24 of them in that class of first graders. And when they graduated from high school at Thayer, Kansas, I went back to the graduation. And I was so proud of those children. And I would like to see it a better place for these kids, because they are so ready to go, and they're willing, they're curious, and we must provide a way for them as well as for Kansas, and them and their families. And I just know we can do it. I brought this young lady today. I started with the porcelain, made it in China, painted it, and when I got that all done, I saw she needed a body, a cloth body, so I designed the body, put her together, and then I started in making the underclothes, and she has the nice lace underneath like is on her dress, and then I designed the dress. It has a leg of mutton sleeves like they would have worn in the 1800s. And the poke bonnet, I designed that. It's a little different than some I've seen, but it has the basic idea. They weren't all exactly alike anyhow. And this is what a little girl way back then would have worn. And if you want to see more of the dolls that I've made, come to the Wakarusa River Valley Museum, and we're opening the research room named after the Hefners on May 4 at 1 o'clock. And they have dolls out there. They are also doing a 2-story addition. The original, the research room, is in the old steel house. The house wasn't usable. It was vandalized. And so the Corps of Engineers let them have the milk house. And they made it into a nice museum, but the museum probably wasn't much bigger than this classroom, this one-room school. And it did have an attic, and the lady that had been collecting things, her family has been there for 6 years, or excuse me, 6 generations. And the people there, the men said, well, you can't put a museum out in the country, nobody will come, and you just don't tell a woman she can't do something. And so she's my age, and now they are building a 2-story addition for display and work on the storage and work on the artifacts. And but the research room will have state-of-the-art where they can connect with any part of the world in moments. And the theme is the Underground Railroad, because the whites and the blacks, Hispanics or Mexican, Native American, all settled in there together. And then there were some from the slave states of the South that wanted Kansas to be a slave state. They came in, but they didn't stay. And we became a free state. And now there is the Freedom's Frontier, which covers about 41 counties along the border of Kansas and Missouri, to tell the story, because Kansas was actually, with the Kansas-Nebraska Act, was in the forefront of the Civil War before it ever started. And it was a very difficult time for people. They came out here with meager possessions and tried to start a business, and they burned homes, they killed people. It's just unbelievable what they went through for us to be a free state. And I really appreciate that they chose to go that way, because I truly believe if anyone is in bondage, we are all in bondage. And it was economic, and it's economic bondage today.